the dough for every dollar, no discussing it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back, one. Welcome back, all. We're back again tonight. It is Wednesday night. My name is Chad Brock. Nobody knows what I'm doing here, but over here, the guy that lives next to the Tennessee River, down by the river, if you will. The women
right
go,
over yonder way.
There goes that man as he pedals that Jackson Kayak down the river. And the kids go, there goes that man. Did I get that right? Jason, Measure Gains, Cassidy.
Yeah, what up, y'all?
It sounded good in my head.
Yeah, it looked good coming out your mouth, Chad. That was a great good.
Yeah, it looked good. Yeah, so welcome back, night 2 of the USA Bassin Kayak Awards. So obviously we've had a lot of tournaments going on. So 2 podcasts on 2 separate nights were needed to get this thing moved off the ground, bud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, at first I was thinking like, do we really need 2? And I'm super glad when I saw the people in the green room this evening. I was like, yeah, it's a great thing that we split this bad boy up into 2 parts because it's a doozy for sure. And like we said last night, we want to make sure these folks get their flowers and thank who they want to thank. And it's the big show. It's the biggest kayak boat ramp reward show in the nation, Chad. It's huge.
These are facts.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's a good show, and we've got 2 other trails that were going on this past weekend that we did not talk about last night. The Eastern Shores boys were at was that Trull and Trussum? I think I've got that right. Ponds, and then Indiana Division, Hoosier Division, was at Raccoon Lake. So we're going to be bringing those folks on here tonight and talking a little more Bassin, if you will. Getting the ins and the outs and seeing who caught them, seeing who didn't.
That's right. Yeah, always good to be talking some proper Bassin. I think just about everywhere is either in a full-on post-spawn deal. We might have a couple late bloomers out there getting a little late to the game, picking up the scraps, if you will. But yeah, the fishing should be heating up all across the country, and I'm really excited to see how they caught them from the Northeast to the Midwest this evening. So it's going to be a great time. Hopefully the Wi-Fi holds out. Elon bumped our price by $5 bill, and I think we went down $20 in service, man. I think we went down $20 in service.
$20 in service. Well, let's bring in our esteemed colleague, the man who runs the show out east.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Andy, what's up? Welcome back again.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's cracking,
Thank you.
Andy?
Not much, man. Not much.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes are always cracking around here. We're fairly bad at them. Andy, go ahead and before we start reading through some results here, go ahead and kind of introduce this tournament to us and give us the lay of the land on your last event out there on the Eastern Shores.
Yeah, so this was originally scheduled for 2 ponds, but some of the anglers were messaging me during pre-fishing or the week leading up to the tournament, and all the 2 ponds that I had originally scheduled it for seemed to always be busy. So I decided to go ahead and open it up to the small little area because there's a few ponds there to Laurel, Delaware. So we ended up fishing Trap, Trussum, Chipman's, Raccoon, Records, Portsville, and Tussock ponds. So, and it looks like some of the guys found them in some of those other ponds. So,
yeah, I'd say I got my readers on tonight, but those look like they begin with 9. So that's always a good day on the water when you've got 90 plus inches there.
Yeah,
that's
close. That's close. We're getting closer.
Yeah. Literally inching closer to the big belt. So yeah, Andy, your folks showed up and showed out in a pretty good way. Curious to get these folks on the show tonight and see how they caught them and what their strategy was. These multi-lake or pond or waterway events always intrigue me. It can either be feast or famine. You know what I mean? You can either be hero or zero. You're pretty familiar with the area, obviously. Do you have that opportunity to kind of pond hop, if you will, bounce from one to the other if it ain't popping?
Yeah, they're pretty close together. I think Trap is on one end, and I believe Portsville is on the opposite end. And between both of them, it's only like a 15-minute drive, and you got all the rest of the ponds in between. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're not making out on one of them, and some of these ponds are kind of small. Um, so 2, 3 anglers to some of these ponds, that's more than enough. Uh, so nobody's fish on top of anybody else. But yeah, they're pretty relatively within 5 to 10 minute drive for the most part of each
Oh
other.
yeah.
So I think some of our anglers actually made a few changes. I want to say that one angler I think changed 3 times before finding a
Oh,
pond that was giving out somewhat decent fish. So
oh, heck yeah. I've always been a little gun shy to pull the trigger on, what I call the Missy Elliott, to flip it and reverse it. Because I always get concerned about that FOMO, that time off the water that I'm not, fishing, I'm traveling. That always kind of lays in my head and I end up staying longer than I should. So kudos to those guys that are able to pull the trigger and make it count.
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes it works,
yeah,
and sometimes it can play. It can go wrong real quick. You just never know until you take that gamble. But that's fishing. Sometimes you got to roll the dice, fellas.
Amen.
yep.
Amen.
I know sometimes it's hard, man. Even if you're catching 14s, it's hard to leave fish to go try and find some bigger fish. But
Yep. You don't leave fish to find fish, right? That's what they always say. That's the old, additive. You just don't mess with that. But like Chad and I have said so many times on this podcast, that I would think if you've got a limit, you've got that little security blanket, if you will, maybe it makes that decision process a little bit easier. So curious,
For sure.
curious to see how they did it and how they came about making those decisions on tonight's show.
Well, let's start with let's start running down this top 10 here. Well, top 9 here because that's what I got on the screen. So
yeah,
shout out to Jay Sartan. You guys got to forgive me because this is what we're showing right here, and that's what I've got on my hand. 39.75 inches. So shout out to him. 3 fish limit on that one. So he fell in there at 9th place. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. 9th place, still top 10. That's That's worth
Good
it.
points. That's good points.
Yep. And then 8th place, Gordon Quinlan, 71 and a half, and he called twice. So shout out to Gordon. Jay Thompson, 76 and a quarter there in 7th, and then P Burst, 76 and a half for 6th place, and then Nick Mazza, 5th place, 77 and 3/4. Jay Waugh, he was right there in 81 inches, cold out twice for 4th place. But now we're going to get into our top 3 here. Let's start by bringing on Tyler Defford. Tyler, how the heck are you, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good, buddy. Remind the folks at home where you're from and what kind of kayak you're fishing out of this season.
So I live in Seaford, Delaware, and I am fishing out of a Bonafide XTR 130.
First time we've had one of those on the show.
Second time. Second time. I was on here in I was on here in March.
I'm being facetious. Yeah, that XTR Bonafide has been showing out in a pretty good way on the tournament scene in 2026, man. So yeah, welcome to the show again, Tyler. We appreciate you making an appearance tonight, and obviously congratulations on a top 3 finish. Looks like you separated yourself a little bit from that 4th place. Tell us a little bit about your day and how you got to the waterway, to choose that particular body of water that you chose, and how that day broke down for you.
Yeah, so the Laurel Ponds is definitely always kind of a tough decision for me because there's a few ponds that I like. They all fish differently. The pond that I ended up fishing was Raccoon. It's always been a pond that I'm pretty confident in. Um, the day started off somewhat slow. Me and Gordy ended up fishing there. We're the two anglers on that pond, and it's a very small pond. So the whole time you're fishing, you're right next to each other, practically watching each other, see what you're doing, see what baits you're throwing. But we both started out with a buzz bait, and we caught probably 10 fish in the first like 20 minutes, but they were all smaller fish. I think we maybe had like 2 or 3 keepers between the two of us. And I think we both at the same time kind of made a switch to like a different bait to see if we could find something else. Um, and I don't want to say it was a good bite. It was primarily a slow day, but the right ones seemed to be biting. Um, it definitely took a while to kind of get upgraded there for a little bit. And I can't remember what time it was, but I know at some point when I got to 88 and a quarter, I moved into first. And then I think I looked like 15 minutes later and Dave had like 93 or something. I was like, man, like I had the lead and I don't even know what happened, but it's definitely a good day. It was a fun day and seems like a lot of people were on good bites. So you can't complain with that.
No, absolutely not. 88 inches. I mean, that's nothing to sniff at. And we talked last night on the show, during the weeknight conversation where you pull up some of the, you pull up your numbers, you're like, oh man, this is probably a pretty good bag, you know what I mean, for the day, the situation. I mean, you're intimate with that area, so you know what's good and what's not good.
Right.
So, I mean, as an angler, confidence is key, and you've got 88 slapped up out there on the Tourney X board. So you're like, yeah. You see first place, you're like, yeah. And then like, man, so how does that feel as an angler, and what does that do to you mentally when you see somebody leapfrog you by, 5 inches in this case? Does it really motivate you to like get after it, or do you get too motivated and you hurry and you make bad decisions?
Right. So it was a very hectic day for me. Like I said, Gordy's Andy can advocate for this, and he's been on here a few times, so you guys can tell by now. Gordy's a very good fisherman. When I moved into first, I was ahead of him by I think exactly an inch, and I told myself in that moment, I was like, all right, that's not it. He's not going to let me have that. So I immediately went right back to trying to find a big one. I ended up losing 2 that would have most definitely helped me out and possibly put me in the running for first, but that's what happens. But when I looked and saw Dave made a pretty hefty jump up to 93 or whatever he had, I looked at my bag and seen my smallest was a 15. And I said, man, all I got to do is catch, an 18 and a 17 or go from there. And I could maybe make a pretty sizable jump and get in contention for it. But it definitely makes you sit back and think, man, it kind of gets to you a little bit because you see them make that big of a jump, and it kind of puts the pressure on you. Like, all right, I gotta now find big fish. I can no longer say, all right, I need a 16 or even a 17. At that point, you're looking for those quality fish. So that kind of made me change how I was fishing. I started throwing a mag draft a little bit to try to pick up a bigger bite. But it ultimately didn't happen for me. But I still had a great day and no complaints from me at all.
Dang, yeah. Chad's, going through here, showing the folks at home some of these fish, and looking at you guys there in the top 4, everybody, hanging a 20 plus on the board. So obviously these ponds have got them. I mean, they've got some very, very high quality fish, 20, 19s, 18s, 17s, all over the place. Man, I mean, Andy, you really got a pretty good spot out there that could definitely contend for one of those big old belts that Chad's been lugging around down there in Bedford, Indiana. You got some tanks in there, man.
Yeah, we got a few good fisheries out here.
Yeah,
Hoping somebody gets that belt this year, but we'll see. So.
Oh yeah, with anglers like Tyler and GQ and all the guys up there fishing your division, I have zero doubts that you've got the skill level, and it looks like you probably have got the fish to cooperate with that to make that thing happen this year, man. So Tyler, man, you really did good. I mean, that 15 and a quarter, obviously, that stinks to have that one hanging when you have a 5-inch gap from your big fish to little fish. you'd like to close that in a little bit. But hey, man, hell of a
Right.
job and good job. Some super good quality points for towards the classic. Yeah, hell of a finish, man.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. There he is. Look at all that wall art he's building behind you, folks. The one, the only GQ2, Gordy Quinlan. If he looks familiar, well, hell, it's because he has a residency here on the USA Bassin National Kayak Fishing Podcast Award Show. GQ, welcome back for I think I'm up to like the 900th time or something like that you've been on this show. But go ahead and remind everybody at home, if they've been living under a rock and don't know who you are by now, where you're from, what you're fishing out of, and how you got into this awesome sport of kayak bassing.
I live in Lincoln, Delaware. I fish in an AP 136. And Dad got me into fishing early. Started fishing boat tournaments with him when I was 8. And fished all kinds of different local circuits and all that stuff. And eventually life took me to the kayak world. So this is going into my 5th year of kayak fishing.
Hell yeah. Well, I love the the father-son hookup that you guys have up there. It's really fun. I mean, besides having like a cool initials like GQ, I mean, it's really cool to be able to, I mean, as a dad, as a grandfather, to be able to see your son go out there and share a passion with each other, like you guys do, but to see you succeed. I mean, if there's one person that I wouldn't mind kicking my butt, would probably be my kid. So, shout out to you for serving it up to the old man again in this edition of the tournament. You got a 2nd place finish. Go ahead and
he's put it on me plenty over the years. So believe me, it's not one-sided at all.
Yeah, you probably got some scars on that behind from the switches over the years to prove it. I promise you, we grew up in a different era. But Gordy, go ahead and break down your day for us. Let us know where you fished, why you fished there, and how you caught these studs. Man, that's a daggone northern grown one right there.
So like Tyler said, I fished Raccoon where he was at, very small pond, and got on him kind of quick. Got a limit relatively quick, but everything was small. A lot of buck bass, a lot of ones chasing, short striking. Decided to slow down the presentation a little bit. Got off of the buzz bait. Started throwing the crack and tackle squid sticks. Picked up a couple 19s. Started figuring like, okay, I might have this figured out. And that bite kind of dried up a little bit. So it was really one of those things where throwing a lot of different baits over the course of the day, showing them something different, especially on a small body of water. Just keeping a rotation going. Really was what it was about. It's a pond with a lot of really good fish, but it wasn't a really great bite, like Tyler said. So yeah, it was a grind, to say the least.
Heck yeah. Speaking of real quick, Chad, we got that Grow Bro last night. We did the you go boy. Tonight, we're going to do the Kraken Drinking Challenge. This is a non-alcoholic beverage. So if it was an alcoholic beverage on Andy's shows, we would be toe up from the flow up, because we're going to hear a lot about Kraken Tackle tonight. They are an unofficial sponsor of USA Bassin. But, hey, shout out to Kraken Tackle. Here's to the first drink. Go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry to interrupt. Ooh, that Pilsner is nice. It's real nice. Oh, look at that hog nose stud right there. Look, Gordy, if you could have convinced some of these fish to show up during the Civil War, the North might have beat the South. You know what I'm saying? That you got some good ones up there. That one's built a little funky, but he's built for speed right there. I tell you what.
Yeah, he's aerodynamic.
He could have qualified for the Indy 500 and made it a 3-way, photo finish there at the end. But yeah, obviously, you had some rub rails, I guess you would call it, up there on Raccoon with Gordy, with Tyler. Do you feel any pressure when you see a competitor over there chunking and winding and catching fish next to you? Is that ever getting your head space at all?
Normally no, but Tyler and I are coworkers, so there is a fair amount of chatter during the week. And Tyler's a little newer into the into the tournament world and the kayak world and everything. And man, don't get me wrong, like, you know, he's been doing good, and I was really happy to see him do well, and I was like, man, you know, that'd be really good to see him do, you know, to possibly win it. And then I was like, but can I really deal with him on Monday?
That's
so
right.
in all fairness, and I told him this, you know, definitely, you know, glad to see him do well. But, you know, really at the end of the day, you know, I saw, like Tyler was saying, you know, he and I were, I think he was at 88 inches and I was at 87. And Dave just, you know, he had a great day, jumped up to 93. And I'm kind of like, okay, well, can I really let Tyler beat me? And, you know, luckily enough, within the last like hour and a half, I hook into the 21 and a half. And that shot me right up, made me look a lot closer to Dave than I really was. You know, and so kind of that put some space between me and Tyler. And there was a bit of a deep breath there for a second. You know, it was like, okay,
I
you know,
think
going to
Tyler was
work on
taking
Tuesday is not going to be too bad. And I don't think he had the same deep breath when he saw me, you know, net that fish. And the lady on the dock took a picture, and I think he knew it was a big one when she came running down the dock. So, but,
yeah, when the paparazzi shows up, and you're like, damn it, I don't even want to look at Tourney X right now. Come on.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I caught that one. I started finally, you know, succumbing to the Koike craze, and I caught it on that, and I was using it on a spinning rod, pretty light gear around some pretty heavy cover. So he even mentioned later on he saw the kind of panic in the kayak when I hooked it, and was like, oh man, you know, like now we need to get this thing in here. And yeah, that was a bit of a mess, but you know, it all worked out.
So how are you presenting the Quickie? What's your setup on the Quickie?
So very, very new at it. First off, I ended up catching 5 or 6 fish on it. What I like to do is I like to run the treble up through the hole that the rod goes through. I use one of the Ryugi quad trebles, and I sandwich a weight in there with that. And what I was doing, these ponds are relatively shallow, like most of them are 2 to 5 feet. And I was casting it anywhere around cover, up in the shallow. And I'd kind of, if it was super shallow, as soon as it got to the water and got below the surface, I'd kind of wake it out a little bit and let it kind of drop. And a lot of times they were in that shallow, like they're kind of in between. I think Jason had mentioned the spawn kind of being done with. There were some still in between that were super close to the bank. And this one was one of those. You know, it was probably a foot of water or less, and a couple twitches, and line took off to the right, and everything broke loose after that. So
it's legit. The Quicky's legit. Is that what you're telling us? It might be a thing.
It might be a thing. As much as I kind of looked at it before and like, this is kind of silly. It definitely caught some fish on a day that didn't have a ton of bites. They were good quality bites, but they were, when they ate it, they really ate it. So I gotta learn a little bit more, but it's a thing.
Folks at home, there's the info.
Get you a Quickie.
All right. Well, we got one more guy to bring on here. We've got a winner to crown on this whole deal. So let's bring on David Welton. David, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Tell the folks at home a little bit about you. Tell them where you're from and what kind of kayak you're fishing out of this season.
So my name is David Weedleton. I live in Seaford, Delaware. I'm fishing out of a New Canoe U10. First kayak I've ever bought, and just went with something that I was comfortable with how stable it was. So that's what I'm with right now.
Nice. Don't get very many nukes on the show, it seems like these days. But yeah, the U10, great platform, nice and wide open. Are you a motor guy, or are you doing it old school with a paddle?
No, I'm lazy. I like the bow mount. I got the XI3 on the front.
Okay.
I try to paddle as little as possible.
I'm into that. Yeah, we don't even need to ask Tyler how he's moving his barge around. But yeah, so welcome to the show, man. And you've been getting a lot of flowers from your competitors down there. So obviously it doesn't sound like you were on Raccoon with Gordy and Tyler. So where were you fishing? And tell us a little bit how your stellar day ended up.
Yeah, I fished Trussum's Pond. It's only 2, maybe 3 miles or so down the road from Raccoon, actually. I knew at least Gordy was going to be at Raccoon, so we had a decent amount of rain the day before, so I figured it would clear a little bit of the scum up that was on Trussum's. So I decided to go there, and there was happened to be a big bass boat tournament on Trap Pond, which was going to be my backup. So I just figured I was going to stick it out all day at Trussum's, and it just happened to work out for me.
Heck yeah. Yeah, Chad going through here showing some of your fish. That first one he showed pulled up there, pretty good sized fish. Looked like it was healing up from some spawning action. Had a little rub rail on its tail, but looking like they're a little thin, a little big headed and thin. So you reckon these fish were post spawn and how you were patterning them?
I feel like they probably were. I feel like it's there. I mean, I caught fish pretty much anywhere you possibly could on that pond. They started off. I mean, I had 80.5 inches by 7:15 in the morning. We launched at 6, so it was just one of those. I stumbled, I caught a fish on a buzzbait first thing, and it was 14.5 inches. It started chunking a Senko around some of the trees. Trussum's it's a big cypress swamp, so it's basically you have an unlimited amount of trees and bushes to fish. And it was, for a while, the first hour and a half there, it seemed like everywhere you cast, dude, there was one waiting for it.
Awesome. Now, were you throwing an actual name brand Senko, or was it a stick style bait?
It's like Tyler and Andy. I have my own bait company. So it was my 5-inch stick worm.
Ooh, well, hey, I was really hoping to sample this fine Pilsner by Go Brewing Company, but for your portion of the show, David, since you are the big winner, let's give a shout out to your bait company here.
Yeah, it's just Wheatleton Custom Baits. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now. I don't nowhere near as much as I was when I first started it. Just life goes on with kids and work and everything, but I still get out in the garage and get some made as much as I can.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll drink to that. And anytime you can beat Mr. Andy, you're doing pretty good. You hear that, Andy? He cracked you over the head with his Senko. So good job, David. Way to go, man. Throwing a Senko around some, cypress trees, definitely a very popular pattern, especially down here in the South. You get down to Louisiana bayous and backwaters, or over there in South Kakalaki. Definitely a big time pattern on Santee Cooper, Lake Murray, and whatnot. Have you ever taken that pattern down south and tried it?
I have not. I've fished down south a little bit. I did some bass boat tournaments and just club trips and stuff when I used to do that. Never had a ton of luck down there. Just wasn't there really long enough to get good pattern together. But luckily, with around here, I grew up on Trussum's. That's actually the reason I bought the kayak in the first place, was to be able to get back in there.
Heck yeah. Yeah, kayaks are definitely a great way to access some skinny little water and get you off the bank. And in today's show, it awarded you 100 points for taking home first place in Andy's division up there. Are you going to utilize those points and take them and those points and your talents to Kentucky this fall?
I told Andy, I said, most likely with my work schedule, I unfortunately probably won't be able to do anything with it. Just this is actually the first win I actually have out of a kayak. I fished plenty of bass boat tournaments when I was fishing those back in the day, but I just happened to get a weekend off and I saw the tournament, so I texted Andy and jumped into it and had a good day.
Heck yeah. Well, you beat some sticks, man. You definitely you beat some hammers out there in your area, and I think all of them just kind of breathed a big sigh of relief, that you aren't going to go down there and take all that money down there on beautiful Lake Barkley and Catawba, Kentucky. But yeah, man, shout out to you and congrats on just showing up and bowing up, getting that derb win, man. That's no easy accomplishment. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was definitely a special day. It was fun.
Heck yeah. Well, hopefully that fuels the fire and your work schedule can open up a little bit to get you a little more tow time, a little time on the water, so you can keep cashing checks and make that classic run next year, maybe in the 2027 year.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely hopefully look forward to it.
Heck yeah. We look forward to having you.
with that being said, we've kind of, me and Jason have asked our questions. Andy, you want to grill these guys any, or you got anything for them?
I'm sorry, what was that? You breaking up a little bit there?
Oh, I just said, do you got any questions for the guys before we let them go?
I'm sorry. You're
That's
breaking
all right.
up again. What was that?
Do the three of you guys up top there, do you guys have any questions for each other?
Too many, and probably not right to ask on this podcast. I'll ask Gordy.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. Tyler, did you call HR on Tuesday morning and file an abuse claim?
Yeah, we work for Verizon, so we're a union. So I'll have to go to the union tomorrow and let them know that I don't feel right about what he was saying about me. So we'll have to pay for that. He got me in the tournament, but I'm gonna get him at work. So
there you go. He's coming for them dividends. He's getting that big paycheck. Better watch out, GQ.
All right, fellas. Well, we got 2 more tournaments to get to. We definitely appreciate you guys being on the pod tonight. But before we let you go, let's go around the room and you guys thank anybody that you need to thank, and tell folks where to find you on social media. David, we'll go ahead and start with you since you're numero uno, and then we'll go to Tyler and Gordon.
Yep. Just thankful to be able to jump in with a great group of guys. Said it's always fun to get in and compete. As far as social media, I don't have a whole bunch of presence on there. I do have a Facebook page for a business. It is just Wheatleton Custom Baits on Facebook. Any interest in anything, feel free to shoot me a message and I'll get right back to you. But yeah, thanks for my wife for actually letting me go fish that day. She got stuck home with the kids all day, so I got to hear that when I got back. But at least she'll get a dinner out of it or something for prize money. So that'll help.
There you go.
But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad you could make it. Tyler.
So I just first want to say thank you to USA Bassin and Crack and Tackle for putting on another great event. It was another good time. Thank you to my family for raising me to be the person I am, of course. I want to shout out my company, Podium Paints. Last time I was on a show back in March or maybe early April, I didn't have a website up yet. So I do have a website now. It's podiumpaints.com. Really awesome website. Really pleased with how it turned out, and got a few new baits that I just released a few weeks ago. One of them is a Koike style bait that I'm calling the Hannavirus bug. And I actually have a bigger size coming out within the next week or two. So pretty excited about that. But besides that, I appreciate you guys having me.
Now, are you gonna DM a couple podcast hosts so maybe we can get in there and get a couple orders in before the general public gets theirs?
Hey, the 2.5 inch size is available on the website for a great price, and I actually offer a silent version and a version with rattles in it. And the next version I have coming out is a 3.25 inch, so it's pretty big, and it's going to come with the same silent and rattling version just for a little bit of uptick in price. But been having some good luck on them. So
yeah, the way Gordy's talking, we sounds like we might need to get our hands on a few.
Yeah, Chad, we need to get our hands on some big noisy balls. America.
We're going to go ahead and mute him for the rest of the podcast.
HR in the house.
There you go. Call the union.
All right. So always start with the family, the wife, kids, dad, mom, everybody, then all their support and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. You guys for holding this podcast, Andy for running the circuit. It's enjoyable. It's a great group of guys. Enjoy the camaraderie and all the conversations. As far as sponsorship, Andy with Crack and Tackle, the squid sticks. There you go. Thirsty. I can probably find a couple more. They bailed me out several times and caught some key fish for me. There's another local MLF pro that's around here, and he makes some great swim baits. The War Panda Nug. I caught an important fish on that the other day. So, slinging the meat around always works. And then Tyler is one of my sponsors of Podium Paints. Like he said, he's got that Hantavirus bug out. I'm excited about that, and I've already got a couple of them. Got them at work today. It's not all talking back and forth. You know, we get some baits back and forth too. So I can't wait to put those to work tomorrow. I have no doubt that I'll be on them. So excited about that.
Nice. And Andy, can you hear me okay? Nope. All right. So shout out to Crack and Tackle as well. Crack and Tackle puts on a great, set of tournaments for you guys up there in Maryland. So check them out. Crack and Tackle Company. If you're in the Maryland area, Eastern Shores Division, hit them boys up. Get signed up for that month long. Get signed up for the next 3 events that these guys have got coming up. It is going to be a barn burner. I'm interested to see your guys' points and see who's leading the way here in a few days once everything's all entered on the website. I think that's going to be some fun. But guys, thanks for being here. I'm going to hide you back down below, and we've got to head out to the Hoosier State and get to a couple more of these events. So thanks again for being here, and we'll probably see you guys on the next one, I got a feeling.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
guys.
Man, that's and all kinds of stuff, man. These anglers are wild out here. Wow. Hopefully that F-150 is not too loud as we roll into Indiana, home of no catalytic converters. It's a good segue to our next tournament.
Are you sure them are non-alcoholic?
100%, baby. This is me, Chad. It's
My
just
Cadillac
what
converter's been fine, buddy. I don't know what the problem is there, bud. Oh man. So Indiana, man, last week we had another weeknight tournament. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody come on and for this one. So we're just going to run through these here real quick, Jason. Yeah. Man, Jordan Potter stole the show again. He beat out poor Bruce back-to-back weeks. Bruce was the bridesmaid yet again. But, this was another one. Again, we keep saying it. The limit makes the difference. Sam Jones, who's no stranger to the USA Bassin Kayak Award Show podcast, he was on him. He just, couldn't get the hook in him and fell a little bit short of that limit. But look right there at that one fish and how it would have made the difference for him.
Yeah, you just imagine a 17 or 17 and a quarter inch fish, and all of a sudden you win. You go from third place to a dub.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes. Five fish would have leapfrog Bruce, who had a limit.
Yep.
Small limit, but hey, limit beats out limited little guys beat out a 4-fish limit all day, obviously.
And Bruce has come into every weeknighter, every small lakes and every weeknighter so far with a goal in mind to get that limit, get it knocked out, and then start working his way up from there. Unfortunately, on this Thursday nighter, no calls in the basket, so those were the 5 fish that was landed with. But he had that 5, snuck up in there to second place, and still made a good showing.
Yeah, and another thing of interest, Jordan Potter there in first place. It shows all smallmouth according to the what he put up there. So yeah, that looks to be the case. So it's an impressive feat, for the brown ones to beat out the green ones, especially in Indiana. Not gonna lie, I mean Indiana's not known for its smallmouth domination. By any stretch of the imagination.
It's there is some good smallmouth to be had in the Hoosier State. You do got to travel a little bit away from the southern portion, unfortunately. Now Patoka Lake is getting a few in it that are getting a pretty substantial size, but Jordan risked it for the biscuit again and went right back to the same spot that he fished with last time he was on the podcast. He hit the old river up and went full send to try to duplicate what he had done in the previous weeknighter, and obviously
that one's built. That one's going to be a problem in about 3 years. Look at the way that one's built like a bluegill. I mean, that's going to be a problem.
Well, and these fish are coming from up around that Tippecanoe River area, somewhere around Freeman and Schaefer. there's
Okay.
big smallmouth to be had up in there. I know
Absolutely,
we had a USA Bassin Big Boat Regional there in the fall, and some of the bigger smallmouth that came out of those two bodies of water they're good. They're good fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So shout
And
out to you, JP, for the dub, man.
I know a few of our guys from down here. They like to travel up that way. Old Billy Fugate, shout out Billy Foo. He likes to go up there and fish the Tippy quite a bit. You know, it's one of his favorite spots out there. So shout out to the Tippy. Shout out to those guys that rock that river up there, Indianapolis River guys, and all the way up there at the St. Joe, man, right there in Notre Dame country at the top of the state. That's another good smallmouth river in Indiana. They're around.
Yeah,
They're around,
Sugar
man.
Creek puts them out. The Tippy puts them out. I mean, heck, even the White River, from time to time can definitely show out pretty good. And if the fishing sucks, hey, dude, the recreational kayakers that float that thing, oh boy, there's always a show to be had in the summertime on Indiana waterways.
And that's the tournament that we're getting ready to go to and look at that also happened to the Hoosier division. You look at these sizes of these fish that come out of the river up there on the Tippy, man, and they're dead set comparable. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some 20s and some things on the lake, but Jordan ain't sleeping on them. I mean, he's got an 18.5, and he's right there competing with the lakes. How long can this pattern run in this weeknight series? I don't know.
I think the cool thing about on a weeknighter, we talked about like you've only got a few hours to get it done. I would think the rivers are going to be more consistent, right? You know what I mean? They unless they're blown out, your fish pretty much they just don't have the places to roam like they can in the lake. So I mean, they're going to be kind of locked in once they get into their pattern. That's pretty much where you're going to find them all year long. You've got a summer pattern and a winter pattern, and that's pretty much it. So if it's fishable, I'd say he's going to be a problem for the anglers because he's going to be consistent.
I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it. But next weeknighter, let's go back over here. Indiana weeknighter. We've got one coming up next week on June 4th. So get in on that. They're every other week. That's how we set them up here in Indiana.
Okay, yeah.
The 4th, the 18th, and then we're back there at the old Brookville Lake. Getting ready for some.
I actually looked at Brookville last night after our podcast. I was kind of winding down, and I was like, Brookville. It's been a hot minute since I've been on that lake, but just to kind of set it up, that's one of the other lakes in the state of Indiana where you can go and chase after bronze and green fish. You know what I mean? They've got them both in there, and some phenomenal walleye fishing. I don't know what it's like this time of year, but I do know at one point in time, all the brood stock that they stock around the state of Indiana, every walleye that they stock around the state comes from Brookville Lake. It's a pretty cool process. I watched them do it during a USA Bassin boat tournament because I wasn't catching anything. So I figured, heck, I'll watch these guys from the DNR go out there and catch a bunch of walleye, put them in the boat.
And the Hoosier division is running a little bit different schedule than we've ran in the past. Always before we've had a big focus on Monroe and Patoka, and then tossed in a couple like Bass Lake. So this year the Hoosier division really went different. And one of the lakes that is different to the Hoosier division that we've not hit before is Raccoon Lake, which was the scene of the crime this past weekend, if you will. A lake that I personally never been to. So I just showed up. As you can see, it wasn't necessarily a nice one to everybody that fished.
It's Indiana. It can be grimy, right?
It can be grimy. I mean, we got our buddy Wyatt Guard here down in 4th place with one fish, Brian Crossan down there with one fish. And then, it fell off. It fell off even more after that. So it was a grind. 3 of us kind of all fished around and close to each other in the same area. We was all doing very different stuff, which is kind of wild in its own right. But it was a different day. Started off oversleeping, it is what it is.
Oh, well, Chad.
I
I mean, gosh.
I didn't oversleep. I just didn't plan my day.
You just didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, come on.
I just didn't plan properly. I mean, I slacked myself about 30 minutes. So,
well, hey, you stretched the line. You put 3 fish in the boat. That's.
I went fishing and I didn't sit behind the computer screen all day. So that was a win.
No. So you definitely increased your 2026 catch per outage average with your 3 fish, Chad.
Yeah, with my 3 fish. I'll give you the skinny, buddy. I'll tell you exactly what went wrong. I, of course, had never been to this lake before, but the old Bassin Kayak NAR FD in the water. Had my trusty live scope. It was flipped up and in the off position. Just went on a little cruise with the old side scan. Found me a couple rocks out there. Looked at them rocks, looked at what was around them rocks, and I said, well, maybe. So I dropped that live scope down there, and those rocks were sitting at about 12 to 15 feet of water. So that old Carolina rig, Sweet Caroline, got picked up. I know a lot of folks at home they don't even like the Carolina rig, but I love that thing. So I picked up the old Carolina rig, hucked it out there a couple of times, and drink. Well, I caught the first one on a Carolina rig, and I decided that all the rest shall be caught the same way.
Yes. They don't call it the ball and chain for nothing.
They don't call it the ball and chain for nothing. I got married to her real quick, and I'm going to be honest with you. That, to me, man, that's one of my favorite ways to catch them. If I can get out there and drag it and count rocks and feel that rod just bury and load up, man, I'm here for it.
Big sweet.
Yeah, give me that. You can have the finesse tactics. I would rather lose than ever throw a wacky rig. I would rather lose. It's just where I'm at in life. I don't care. I'm gonna throw the ball and chain. It's big, it's heavy, it's gnarly. I'm here for it.
Hey, you know what, Chad? I can appreciate people like you that stick to their guns.
Just hard-headed
and donate their paycheck.
Just hard-headed and dumb. It's like, well, we're doing this today.
Yeah. Well, hey, eventually that pattern is going to show up. You know what I mean? It's because that is a forgotten tactic that, these young guns, they don't like to do it because it is time-consuming. It is slow. It is methodical. But, man, it's
kind of a finesse of its own with a great big heavy weight.
100%. You can downsize that thing, throw a mojo rig. That used to be a co-angler sleeper. You know what I mean?
You can throw a half-ounce weight in 2 foot of water. It's okay. Do it all the time. It's just life. But yeah, I mean, it's a different technique, and fishing 18 or anywhere from 12 to 18 feet of water probably wasn't the best tactic for the day, but I liked it. It was fun.
I'm thinking they were probably a little shallower.
They were way shallower, as we're about to find out. David Elsey, who is out on the water actually right now getting some fishing in. I just talked to him a few minutes ago. He brought it in second. He had a pretty good day, and he managed to do a little bit of culling. He had a 12-incher on there at one point in time, and he got rid of that little dude, and he popped up that leaderboard. But I mean, you can tell, Jason. I mean, you've been around Raccoon. Raccoon has got some. It's got some pretty thick and healthy fish in it, as we all well know.
Yeah, Raccoon is definitely a phenomenal fishing lake. They were one of between them and Patoka. One of the only lakes that did not have the standard 14-inch size limit for the longest time. Last time I fished it was either 15 or 16 inches, and I think that little bit of bump in the size limit definitely helps that lake. It is relatively close to Metro Indianapolis. It's on the far west side of Indianapolis.
Far west side.
I mean, Indianapolis. You've got a few different small bodies of water, but yeah, it's definitely a doable drive. So it gets a fair amount of fishing pressure, as do most of the lakes there in the state. But yeah, when you stumble across them, man, they're good. There's some good quality fish in that lake. It's clean, it's healthy. Yeah, and
rocky.
It serves them up. Yeah,
great crawfish population.
Wonderful crawl population. Good for a Carolina rig. in the summertime.
Great for a Carolina rig in the summertime. Probably not on a cloudy, overcast day where they're roaming.
Yeah, and shout out to David Elsey in second
Yeah,
place
shout out
there.
David.
You know, he's a hell of an angler and even a better guy. Definitely love seeing him showing up in the top 3 of the leaderboard, seeing him improve each year that he's fished with us. He's gonna, I'm assuming, he's been to both the past classics, so I'm assuming he's going to be at this one. But he's going to be a hammer down there. I'm here to tell you, he's come a long way, and his fishing game's definitely getting hot in the right point in time. It looks like
it is, and David's one of those guys that ain't scared to go up there and put it in the dirt. And I guarantee you that's what he was doing. I've seen a few pictures that he's sent me here, and yeah, he was running up pretty shallow as well. So
hell yeah,
shout out to David. Looking forward to seeing him at the next one. I know it'll be a good one as well.
Yeah, but it's hard to beat number 1.
It is hard to beat. Well, he's an athlete, so he says.
Are we still talking about David here?
No. We're talking about number 1. Everybody's favorite girlfriend, the one, the only, Marcus Scrubs is back.
What's up, boys?
Yeah. Man, I seen Marcus from behind at a Walmart one time, and I seen that booty. I was like, "Ooh, hey!" And then I said, "Oh man, that's Marcus."
He says they're non-alcoholic beers, but I still have I have no verification.
I'm questioning myself.
Marcus, tell the folks at home where you're from and what kind of kayak you fished this tournament out of, bud.
I'm from Salem, Indiana. I fished out of Chad's extra big rig FD, and it treated me real well.
Got all kinds of switcheroo going on here. What the heck? All right.
Yeah,
I'm clicking on the other side of the page, and
who's not
here.
drinking alcohol, Chad? What's going on?
I am 100% drinking alcohol. I will not lie. So Marcus, man, another great tournament for you, bud. I mean, let's kind of run this day down. Obviously, you and I showed up a little late,
We were a little tardy.
a little tardy, but kind of walk us through your day, a lake you've never seen before.
Never seen.
How long did it take you to get things figured out once we got there and got the boats on the water, bud?
Man, looking at the water, it was a little high. It wasn't real dirty, but it was up in the bushes. So I was thinking, man, I'm going to throw a jig up in that nasty stuff. I'm going to throw a buzz bait around. I'm going to throw my little square bill and just smash them. And about an hour later, I said, damn, what am I going to do? I ain't got no fish. So I saw some riprap across the way, and I said, I'm just going to drag a jig over there and see what happens. It took 10, 15 minutes before I actually caught one. It was my first 16-incher. And I didn't really know why it bit. I just knew I was dragging the jig on some riprap. So I went across the way a little bit, and I threw the jig a little more, but then I started throwing the wacky rig up real shallow. And I caught another one. It was a 18-incher. And I said, dang, I'm psyched they're biting the wacky rig because I actually love fishing that as opposed to Chad.
You also like winning as opposed to Chad.
Right.
I'm ready to donate.
That's what I want to do.
Over the cost.
But I made a few more casts, and then I went up there and inspected why I maybe caught that fish, and I saw a big ball of fry swimming around. So that just light bulb came on, and that's why I targeted docks that were flooded with little balls of fry swimming around, and I'd throw the wacky rig and catch a fish on every single one I found like that. Boom. Lost a couple, but didn't seem to matter. They were kind of small, so I didn't see a couple. I don't know how big they were, but it was super fun figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little fry garters, man. That's a hell of a pattern to run, and you get around any kind of hard surface. That's something that you can repeat a lot. Now, you've never been to Raccoon Lake before, so not a ton of dockage on the water. So did you spend a lot of time being an athlete, exercising your legs in that big rig?
I exercised a lot that day, and I ran a little ways away into a cove that had 5 or 6 docks, and 3 or 4 of them had fish on them. And I caught 3 or 4 fish, and then lost one, and then I repeated. I just beat the crap out of them and didn't get any more bites. So I came back to where we launched. There was a couple docks, and the very first one I pulled up on, I saw some fry and threw that wacky rig and caught my 5th fish. That didn't have half a jaw.
Yeah, and let's bring that one up. I don't know how close we're going to get on it, but this is actually a really good point to bring up for the folks at home. I think it was this one. Yeah, you guys can see kind of down there. It's hard to see, but it looks like that the nose is not the bottom lip is not completely touching the board. For the record on that one, that fish right there actually was missing its lower jaw, completely ripped off. And that is where something like using the video as a confirmation came in super handy for Marcus, because that fish, if he wouldn't have had that video to go along with the release, would have cost him an inch just based on the way that the fish looked. It wasn't any problem. The fish was still out there doing its thing, but it had no lower jaw.
Yeah, so it would have been like a compromised fish, a suspect fish, if you will.
Yeah, the other
For
side
sure.
didn't look as bad, but the side facing the camera definitely was messed up.
Yep. So that's something, guys at home, where that video release right there saved the old grand total on that one, because we was able to verify that that fish was indeed missing its lower jaw and swam off okay.
Yeah, and when in doubt, reach out. Reach out to your tournament director if you have something like that. Be like, hey, Chad, this particular fish here looked like, he talked a little too much smack and got his face adjusted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But reach out and be like, hey, man, it doesn't have a lower jaw. So
Yeah.
that goes a long way to conversation, communication is the key to all things in life.
Luckily,
It is.
Chad wasn't too far away.
Yeah, he's just probably out about 18 foot of water throwing a freaking ball and chain out there.
He was
watching you catch
that whole sequence is actually funny, because I had just caught one on the ball and chain. Marcus comes up probably 50 yards in front of me, maybe, and he catches one off the dock. And as we finish up with his, I kind of drift back out, and I'm fishing this hump that's got like 18 to 20 feet of water all the way around it, but then it comes up and it's like 12 feet on top. And I'm throwing out there that hump, and Marcus proceeds to see me lose probably a pretty good one right there in front of him. So ball and chain was working. It was just user error. This is why Chad doesn't have a limit, but that's okay.
I gotta figure out how to throw that thing.
You just chuck it.
You just keep doing what you're doing, Marcus. You're
You
doing
just keep
all
doing
right.
what you're doing.
Don't you
Stay
listen
off.
to that? Don't you listen to that guy?
Stay off my dirty humps.
I'll wait till the water temp gets up to 90 or so.
We'll do it. We'll go ahead. We'll make it a date. So Raccoon Lake, never been there. What is your impression of it? Is it a place that you would like to revisit with a day of practice now?
Oh yeah, I liked it. I feel like it'd be pretty fun when the water was normal or whatever. I love cranking, and it looks like a good cranking lake. It's not crazy big, but it's not tiny, so there's all kinds of places you probably could go find a good bite. I know if I had a big motor and I could have run around all the docks on that lake, I probably would have had a real good day. I would have just
think so.
Repeated that pattern.
And obviously, I mean, it was something. Had a couple anglers, not to mention any names, come by me that had blanked for the day. That they didn't see that same pattern that you had, and I don't know what made the difference, why you seen what they didn't see, but obviously being up close, making sure you're on your feet in that particular situation made all the difference. Being an athlete.
I was athletically standing up on the kayak, looking around. So my eyeballs work real good. They're halfway athletes as well, as hard as they work. So I feel like using using everything I had to look around, stand up, stood on the seat a couple times, and just found those little clouds of fry. And I knew if I found those, I'd catch a fish.
Heck yeah. Folks that don't know Marcus, I mean, he is a very tall, slender guy, zero glaucoma in his game. And he he had a bird's eye view of these fish. And now you're fishing out of you mentioned a borrowed big rig of Chad's. So is it safe to say you were probably loaded down with 30 screens and had 12 live scopes pointed in every direction?
No, I didn't give him anything.
I could barely move.
I made him fish in the dark.
No, I honestly, Chad had a graph for it, and I told him when we got there that I probably wouldn't need it because I was just going to be hard-headed and do what I wanted to do anyway, and I was going to be in the dirt. I was going to be up shallow, so it didn't really matter. This time of year, I feel like you don't need as much.
Yeah. And that's a testament to, you don't, to keep up with the Joneses scenario.
Yeah.
You really don't have to have all this fancy crap.
Are you talking bad about Sam? He was just in the comments.
No, you were the
Jason
one that talking about somebody
Sam.
that didn't catch any fish. I don't know what you're talking about.
See, I didn't put any names out there.
Sam, I didn't say that.
Golly,
we build Gigo.
I love having a dozen rods on me, but I only had 4 this day. I didn't even tie anything else on.
3 too many, if you ask me, bud. Sounds like
3 too many. I mean, this time of year, I probably should only have a wacky rig.
Now, I don't know if you want to give away the juice, but I've seen you fish a wacky worm, and it's like, ADHD, like, I mean, you move a wacky worm sometimes like incredibly fast. Was it a slower presentation with the fry garters, or were you just like getting after it?
Well, I was getting after it, but I, depending on where I'm at, if I want to fall faster, I just throw a heavier wire hook, and the worms I use are pretty heavy, so they sink fast anyway. So that's kind of what I was doing. I was fishing 5 feet of water at the most, and they're sinking fast enough. I think that wacky worm just floating in their face, they can't stand it.
Yeah. Some good parents out there on Raccoon, right?
Yeah,
like protecting their youth.
I got to sight fish one. I cruised up on it, and it saw me and kind of got skittish. So I went down the bank and caught another one. And then maybe like 10 minutes later, I came back, and it was still cruising around on top of the dock that was under a couple feet of water, and saw it. It didn't see me, and I threw that wacky rig up there, and it nosed up to it, almost like a bed fish, man. It was crazy. And just sucked her in. It was another one of the 16s, I think. But it's awesome watching them do it.
Yeah. Well, in the shallow bite,
no,
he ain't gonna make me cry. I fished Carolina rig all day. But no, I mean, it's one of them things, man. I mean, shallow fishing. We know live scope's a thing, and graphin's a thing, and all the tools and technology. But man, there's always going to be people that get done in the dirt. I think that's one of the things that'll never go away. I mean, for every new thing that comes out, the old stuff just helps it work better.
Yep. You ain't lying.
Definite facts. 10 out of 10. And we love you, Sam Jones, in the comments. We're just razzing you a little bit because it's not too often that we get to beat a redheaded stepchild, and I can say that because I am one. So don't get mad.
I'm part ginger.
Yeah, we can say with the hard R. But yeah, it's not very often that we get a beat, Sam. So
Sam has beat me way
the
more
best
than
podcast
I
on there.
This is probably definitely the first time I beat Sam, probably.
Well, speaking of beating people, Marcus, I don't want to bring up old stuff or peel back old wounds, but
they're long forgotten now. I never.
This victory does give you 100 points, which 100 points goes a long way towards qualifying for the.
I believe he's already qualified.
USA Bassin Classic.
Yeah, he's qualified.
So you've heard of it before, right? This is an event you've probably fished.
All of them.
Yeah. For the fourth one. He's qualified for his fourth one.
Yeah, I'm ready. I need to figure out how I'm going to get there and how I'm going to get around, all that. What kayak I'm going to use, all the good stuff. I got a few months. I'll figure it out.
This is a coffee stout, non-alcoholic, by the way.
So-
It's delicious.
That's great. So being the bridesmaid twice we kind of asked Mark Chase this. I'm going to ask you, being the bridesmaid twice, back-to-back times, as a matter of fact. And then last year it was also a memorable tournament, but the tournament itself wasn't, it was as important. It was just more being there and kind of some of the stuff that went on. But how much would it mean to you to go down to Lake Barkley in beautiful Catawba, Kentucky, and pull this thing off?
It'd be crazy. Monkey off the back kind of deal. If I could just get that one out of the way, it'd be awesome. I came too close 2 times.
Yeah, and having a front row seat to that agony. I mean, it's tough to watch, and I don't think there would be too many people in attendance that would be upset, to see a guy like yourself take home that that classic championship for sure. So we're definitely rooting for you when you go down there to Lake Barkley in Catawba, Kentucky. And yeah, man, if anybody's going to take it home, like I said in years past, I never bet against Marcus Grips for sure. You know what I mean? He's a hell of an angler, and he knows what he's doing out there on the water.
Vote for him or put your bets on him on Kalshi. That's what we need. We just need to get with Kalshi and get a bet pool going on this thing.
But, get you some of them get you some of them balls, man.
Dude, I don't have enough money for those.
Well, hey, man, watch this show back, and we'll be able to get you hooked up with some of them guys up there in the Northeast. And I think Chad might have their information. We should leave it in the comment section here on the socials. Yeah, see if we can get some balls.
Well, guys, we've made it an hour and 7 minutes. It's been another long episode of the USA Bassin Kayak Awards Show. Didn't feel that long tonight. It actually went fairly quickly. So, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for watching us 2 nights in a row, back to back, hearing all the different stories, talking to all the different anglers. It means a lot to them. It means a lot to us. We want to keep this thing growing and keep this thing just plugging along. So get out there, get signed up, and let's go bassing, kids. That's all.
It's going to be a good weekend. Get out there and go catch some fish.
Let's go.
Got a couple big tournaments coming up this weekend. Get signed up. That Texas shootout, we talked about it a little bit last night, man. Got some crazy lakes on that one. Could be the weekend that the 100-inch tournament or the 100-inch belt gets won, the first one anyway. But then turn around, we got them Kentucky boys. They're at Cedar Creek Lake. Marcus, could Cedar Creek break that 100 inches?
It easily could. It's one of my favorite.
There we go. Yeah, Chad. We bust that hundo, man. We're going cowboy hats.
Cannot be non-alcoholic
he
beers.
Actually grabbed the
man.
You have so grabbed the wrong beers.
There's no way.
Come on, man.
There's no way,
man. Hey, they sent them to me in the mail, man. They wouldn't do me like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next Monday night, right back here on the USA Bassin Kayak Awards Show. Thanks for fishing with us, and we'll see you next time.
Good night,
everybody.
Go pro, baby. Let's go.